The Muslim philosopher and poet Abil Ala al-Ma'arri was charged with two non-Muslim noblemen. One is an astronomer and the other is a physician. They said to him, "There will not be a life after we die, and the souls will not be resurrected. So why do you keep believing?" He replied to them in a form of poetry, where he said, "The astronomer and the physician both said there will not be resurrection of the bodies. If what you are saying is true, then I did not lose, and if what I am saying is true, then you are the losers." We know that man is a social animal. Every man depends upon millions of people for his life and its necessities. Also, we know that every society needs some laws to prevent injustice and preserve the rights of every member of the society. But who is the right authority to make the law? One man? No, because he instinctively will look first of all after his own interest. A group of people? No, because every one of them is capable of wrong judgment, and a lot of wrong decisions do not add up to a right decision. Moreover, no man or group of men is in a position to make a comprehensive law based on a perfect equity and justice. So it is necessary that laws should be made by someone who is superior to man, who has nothing to lose or gain by that law, and with whom every man has equal relation, and that one is God. Moreover, all the man-made laws and customs have a very serious defect. They cannot stop a crime. This defect makes their existence somewhat superfluous. He then went further to elaborate his point with an example. A thief enters an occupied house in a remote village at the dead of night to steal some valuables. He knows perfectly well that there are no security for many miles around the house. Is there any law of government which can stop him from committing the crime? The answer is certainly no. No government can stop the said person from stealing, but religion can. Religion teaches that there is a God who knows and sees everything, who is just and virtuous himself, and wants us to be just and virtuous. It teaches us that we are responsible for our deeds in his eyes, and we have to give account of our deeds in the afterlife. If a person believes in it, then he can restrain himself from committing sins and crimes and inflicting injustice upon other people. Laws of government can control the external affairs of a man, and even that only at a time and place. But the belief in God and religion not only controls the external acts, but hidden desires and inner thoughts also. This control is not confined to any particular place or any limited time, because God is omnipresent and omniscient. To fully realize the unquestionable benefits which the society derives from the belief in God and religion, try to think about the chaos and turmoil which mankind will certainly plunge into if the belief in God is put aside. In such an atmosphere, every individual is at liberty to do whatever he wishes. He thinks there is no God and no life hereafter, and so there is no accountability for his actions. He also thinks that he has come into being by the chance of a blind nature, and he also knows that the span of life is very short. So he naturally will be overcome by the desire to enjoy this life as much as possible without any regard to anything else. His only consideration will be to avoid being caught red-handed or detected by the government law. And whenever he will feel safe, he will not stop at any limit to fulfill his desire, how much heinous that desire may appear to others. This is a quite logical and compelling response to the question from a social perspective. Now, let's also mention 3 benefits that religion provides man from a personal perspective. The first one is hope. A believer does not lose hope, no matter what circumstances he finds himself. Whenever his life gets messy and he got caught up in the tide of life's hardship, he seeks refuge from God the Almighty, and you find his heart brimming with hope and anticipation, always hopeful for his mercy, beneficence, and kindness. Perhaps this is the reason why we barely witness suicidal cases in the practicing Muslim communities, because we know that no matter how hard life gets, there is someone in control, and he doesn't forget. Even if we end up losing everything we have, he will surely compensate us in the afterlife. The second one is peace of mind. In this troubled world that we live in, people are desperately looking for things that will ease their minds and disconnect them from their problems. That's part of the reason why people drink alcohol and use toxic supplements when they get into a bad mood, hoping that it will help clear their minds. The best among them indulge in the practices of therapy and meditation for the purpose of reaching heightened levels of spiritual awareness, because it helps in achieving peace of mind. Whereas in Islam we get that through prayer and prostration to the Almighty. That particular moment of prayer is a quality time that no alcohol, drugs, or meditation can provide. Prayer is more than a meditation. It is the accession of the believer because he gets to have a conversation with his Lord, the originator of the universe. Performing it over time fills the heart forever with serenity and tranquility. In fact, not just prayer, remembering Allah through mentioning Him and contemplating the universe and the beautiful creations in it is sometimes better than worshipping. The Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "A moment of contemplation is better than the worship of 1 year." These acts of worship keep a believer's mind clear, collective, and focused, and he gets to experience an eternal peace of mind. And remember that a believer gets compensated in the afterlife for the prayers he performs, unlike the person who only meditates, for his reward is worldly and transient. The third one is discipline and responsibility. Today, with social media, games, TV shows, and daily life problems, man has a tedious task of overcoming distraction, procrastination, and irresponsibility. The task that is left undone by the majority of us, because most of us don't want to go through the difficult process of disciplining ourselves and taking the responsibility to remedy the problems that rises daily in our lives. So, how do we remedy this issue? There needs to be a well-designed program that we will follow so we can finally stay disciplined and responsible, and also get the reward for our resilience and patience, an eternal reward, not transient. In our case, that program is Islam. Islam has already laid out the concept of discipline. One example is punctuality. A believer has to always be on time, especially during prayer, except for the slight delays that are customarily overlooked. This in itself is a form of discipline. Another example is submission and obedience. Obedience not only to Allah but also to the parents and elders. Islam has it that even if your parents are not Muslims, you must obey them in the affairs that are not contrary to your faith. A believer must submit to the will of Allah and act accordingly. In regards to responsibility, a believer is obliged to take care of himself, his parents, and his family, providing for them and protecting them as much as he can. A believer is also responsible for the community he lives in. The concept of promoting virtue and prevention of vice speaks clearly to that. It states that one should strive to prevent others from committing sinful acts whenever he can. Exercising these tasks help us become disciplined. Do you remember the story we mentioned in the beginning of this session? It is saying that, let's say, no one is really sure about whether religion is true or not, and that there will actually be an afterlife or it is just an illusion. Whether this is true or not, reason demands that we take necessary measures beforehand, so that if it turns out to be true, we have no problem. And if it turns out to be false, then we got nothing to lose. So it is kind of a precaution from the unknown. Thanks for watching, peace be upon you all, and see you in the next read.